Alright, we are live.
We are live.
Okay, hello everybody, and this is season 2, episode 1 of the Everything About Everything Sports Podcast.
You guys talk about sticks and balls.
You know, we took a 2.5 week break. It's okay.
Yeah, we had vacation and football
I had
and stuff.
camp. Camp is officially done for me. For a lot of people, well, for me and most D1s, it was the end of camp last week.
Yeah.
And obviously this week is game week. Yeah, my team did not do so hot.
Yeah. What was that score, Ben?
The score was 60-0. And it was rough.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Officially in my football career, that's the most devastating game I've ever been part of.
That's the only one that I can remember was worse than that I've been a part of. I really wasn't even playing. I was just there. It was at Ford Field when Cabrini played GR. I think it was 65-7 or something like that.
But
like,
at least
that's
you
the
scored.
Right, yeah, exactly. But
I've had the worst one at high school was 67-14, but at least we scored.
yeah, you scored twice too.
Yeah.
I mean,
We didn't even score yesterday.
Who was that again? The other.
Oh,
the 64.
When I was at Woodhaven, I played against Belleville.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable.
For people not in Michigan, Belleville is a perennial powerhouse.
Easily top 10
that
high school football team.
Recruits a lot.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I saw a thing on Instagram. It broke down the top 25 Michigan high schools over the past 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
or something like
Belleville is easily up there.
Yeah. Yeah, they were number 10 or something like that.
Yeah,
top
Belleville 10. Also had the number 1 quarterback recruit in the country.
Yeah, they have Clemson's logo, the paw.
Yeah, I will say their jerseys are sick.
They do look pretty sweet.
Now that I'm out of high school, I wouldn't mind putting my kids at Belleville.
Yeah, especially if they're into football.
Yeah.
Right.
That made me... Now, Woodhaven was good. Don't get me wrong. When I was there, Woodhaven was good. But I was man, I could have picked Belleville.
Yeah.
But I had school of choice. Or whatever.
You could have.
But, my team got a 60 bomb laid on them yesterday. So, not great. It's okay. We'll learn from it. I watched some of the film. I gotta watch more.
Oh, the film of the game.
Yeah, but I also was there, so I kind of know what happened. But I gotta watch the film and see what actually happened because I gotta look at my position and what we did wrong because it was a lot of the problem was just getting off the field.
Right.
Because, we do good on first and second down, and then we let up a 15-yard gain.
Exactly. And then what were you saying? You were saying you just couldn't, you couldn't bring people down.
Yeah, tackling was an issue yesterday, and I know this week it's going to be a rough one at practice this week.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Because, Monday practice, just, no pads probably, just, or
no,
you're just going to run, condition?
No, it's not even, they're not, it's not yeah, I can't say we didn't, it's, because this is going to sound really bad. We didn't give up, but, there's not much you can do when,
Yeah.
And this is objectively, too. It's hard for when you don't get the stop on defense and you got that in your brain, and then 30 seconds later, we're punching the ball, you have to go on defense again.
Yeah, that is definitely difficult when you get taken off the field and then you go on the sideline, try to break down what you just did, and you have to go right back on.
Now, this is going to sound like I'm talking shit about my team, but I'm being honest, and I obviously I didn't play, so I don't really got much to say about it.
Yeah.
We'll bounce back. It'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean,
They
it
were
is
the
for
top.
game number one.
They were number 6 in the nation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, and so, we took it on the chin.
Who
Nobody got hurt, which is good.
You said who was it that you played?
Indiana Westland. They play like D1 FCS teams like Valparaiso and shit too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the best team we're going to face all year. They did a lot of shifting and everything. It was like a very, just like knowing what they're gonna line up in and everything. It was, we just gotta be better.
Yeah.
We'll fix it this week. Do lots of tackling.
Yeah, she's hitting the sleds and stuff.
Well, I don't really hit the sled. It was more of like stopping our feet and like arm tackling.
Oh, okay, yeah. So just like
Yeah, like you can't bring a guy just by doing that.
no, yeah, having to like actually
Or a
wrap
good
your arm.
team,
Yeah,
at least. You
Okay, I
can't
see.
do that. So, it is what it is.
yeah.
While we're on college football, we should just talk about college football.
Yeah, college, but Florida State losing to Georgia Tech.
I was so happy about that.
Dude, that was
I'm pulling up all the scores from. Well, that was technically like week 0,
yeah.
even though it says week 1.
I want to see what the Notre Dame A&M game turned out to
Yeah,
be.
so Georgia Tech, unranked, beat Florida State by a field goal last second.
Yeah.
And you know what the irony is?
Hmm.
Georgia Tech's kicker is from Dublin.
Oh, Dublin, Florida.
No,
Oh,
Dublin, Ohio, or Ireland. He's from Ireland.
oh. Well, what's the irony then?
They were in Ireland playing that game.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's right. That was in Ireland.
Yeah, it was in Ireland. So, that's kind of cool,
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Georgia Tech last year, they played Georgia pretty well at the last game of the
That's
year.
true.
So you had to think that, maybe it was because they were getting a little better. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of those SEC teams, like, the thing is, if you go and play even, like, a lower level team in another bracket, in another division,
Yeah.
you're probably going to do pretty good because SEC football is just different.
Yeah.
I think, what,
Oh my.
Florida State's in the ACC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. And Florida State is ranked number 10. They did do good last year, but
Yeah.
if they did what they did to Georgia,
So, as I'm looking through all these scores, the highest score that we've had so far, because there's games tonight, which I will be watching,
looks like Ole Miss versus Furman.
is 76 points. That's insane.
That is, I mean, I've never heard of Furman.
They're
them.
FCS.
Yeah,
They
well,
might
there
be
you go.
FBS now, but they definitely were FCS. Notre Dame pulled away, huh?
They did, yeah. We were watching that game, watching the score of the game when we were at the Michigan game yesterday. It was 6-6 the last time we looked at it. Last time I had looked at it.
Yeah.
It ends up being 23-13.
And I think Oregon had kind of the same struggles we had because they only beat Idaho by 10.
They let them score 2 touchdowns, too.
Yeah. We were both at the Michigan game yesterday. We'll be posting more and more about that today. We all fell asleep
Yeah,
and
oh
we
my
couldn't
God,
get
yeah.
service.
Yeah, service at the stadium was nuts. It was, like, I was able to send word text and receive word text, but I wasn't able to send any pictures.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I wasn't able to send any pictures or any videos at all.
Yeah. So that was my second ever Michigan game
Yeah.
in the stands, and it was well, we didn't really stay the full time.
No, we ended up leaving maybe around like 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
6 minutes left.
But this was my first time like being at the start of a Michigan game because the one Michigan game I've been to before, we got there like directly at half.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Because the way it worked out was we didn't know we were getting the tickets. It was just somebody couldn't go. And it was on like Facebook from my dad's girlfriend, and she got the tickets for free. And because I guess they were friends or something. I don't know the exact situation, but she gave them to me and my dad, and we went, but we got there like just at half.
Well, um, I don't know. Like I said in the beginning of the Michigan game, like usually they have like everything start like
Yeah.
maybe like a half an hour before, like 20 minutes before, and then the Michigan halftime is a little bit longer than like a normal halftime because I think college is just normally like that because they have the marching band go out.
Yeah, because
and they have
the
TV
halftime
timeouts
for
and
NFL is like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's like I think it's technically 15, but on TV it's like 10 or so. Like it goes by like super fast because I have like. They take you on the field like before the half starts, and they do like the breakdown and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're back from commercial before the 15 minutes.
Yeah, you know that it's fast when they don't even warm up again.
No, yeah. And then same thing with halftime in soccer. I think halftime in soccer is like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. So it's like.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was. The hype video, the James Earl Jones hype video is still there. That's my favorite part. They had 2 pregame like ceremony things going on. They had the parachuters.
The parachuters were cool.
Oh yeah, there was really.
We got
cool.
good videos of that too.
We did. So the one guy jumped out. He had an American flag with an American flag parachute.
Yeah.
And then he had like blue spray paint or like blue fog.
Yeah.
And then a woman jumped out.
It was kind of hard to tell the blue because obviously the sky
but
was
then,
blue.
So then a woman jumped down. She had the national championship banner with yellow fog, and she also had an American canopy too.
Yeah, that was hella fun.
It really was. And then the flyover too. I didn't see what kind of planes they were. They looked like.
They were going fast too.
They looked kind of maybe like World War II era planes.
Yeah,
they looked like older ones.
Yeah, they didn't look new.
No, yeah.
So that's cool.
Maybe like I don't know about what the Blue Angels use anymore, but I don't think it would be them.
No, I think they're newer.
But they were blue planes though. Like you can see, they were like navy blue. So I don't know.
I thought one was camo colored. It might have.
It could have been. I don't know. It was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to tell.
You didn't get a video.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I guess we can check in the video later.
Yeah.
My present was good.
Yeah. The hot dog was actually pretty good too. It was bigger than the one in Tiger Stadium, and it was cheaper.
Really?
Yes, it was.
I was happy that now I'm sure every stadium has to do it. I'm so happy they had the water refueling station.
Yeah, that came in clutch.
Because I drank 3 bottles worth of water.
Yeah.
And it was $5.50.
I mean, realistically, every stadium kind of does have that because you could just take the water bottle into the bathroom and fill it up in the sink.
Yeah.
But, I mean, people, you could say, oh, you have to take the take it into the bathroom, though, when the bathroom's filthy. Yeah, it is what it is. That whole place is filthy. Every stadium that you go to, some are worse than others.
Especially the Commander.
Right, yeah, exactly. But, those H2O refilling things came in clutch. It was like it was like mounted on the wall, and it was like a trough on the bottom to like catch all the water that's,
it was
doesn't go in the bottle.
No, it just went directly to the drain.
No, there was a thing underneath. It was like a metal thing underneath, and it caught some of the water. But because you had your bottle like positioned in a certain way, it would like leak down and just go right on the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like
it
wasn't very effective.
I didn't see the trough.
No, it was not very effective.
Oh, well.
And then they had picture like
that's what I'm sitting on.
Oh, and then picture like a like the faucet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a normal faucet. You just hold it down.
It's not fancy, but it got the job.
No, yeah, it was not as cold as when you get it out of the normal, when you get it first time.
And I was talking to the girl that was like giving me the food and everything. Just talking to her and everything, and she's like, "Do you want cheese?" I was like, "How much extra are you going to cost me $3 for cheese?"
How much extra is cheese?
And she's like, "Usually we would, but today it's free." So I was like, "All right, let me get that cheese then."
Yeah.
But the cheese was spicy. I could usually handle spice, but I was like, I felt it. I felt this tingle. The little tingles.
Maybe jalapeno cheddar or something like that.
It must have been something. It fucked up my stomach, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
When I got home, I let Pandora's box out.
Dude, yeah, I was super tired yesterday. I got home, immediately went to the bathroom, and then just crashed out. I had another sandwich though when we got home. So yeah.
I took a shower and then went to sleep.
Dang, yeah. I have to shower before I head into work. But
yeah. But yeah, I did. The tailgate was all right.
yeah, so we ended up getting there. We ended up getting there maybe a little bit later than we should have, because we left around 3, maybe quarter after 3, or no. Yeah, well, we officially like got on the highway around like quarter after 3 because we stopped and got like ice and stuff like that and stuff from 7-Eleven, and then we ended up getting there maybe around like just before 4 o'clock is when we got there.
Okay.
And we parked in this blacktop area. People who are familiar with the parking in Michigan Stadium, they know what I'm talking about. There's Pioneer, which you park right in the grass, and then there's Pioneer's parking lot, and it's actual concrete and stuff like that. And we parked there for $90.
Yeah, that was crazy. As soon as you called me on the phone, because I was like because we were supposed to go there together. And I was like, I didn't even know I was dressing to be too. And that's a whole different story that I'm not going to get into, but I put my phone on Do Not Disturb after I texted you, because I texted you, hey, I'm dressing. Like, I might be a little bit late.
Yeah.
Because you told me the day before it was like 4 o'clock you were leaving.
Yeah, we wanted to be, but then we saw, like, I started on my Instagram feed and stuff like that, and like on TV, they were showing people, like, the traffic going off of 94, and like people parking like in the prepaid reserve parking that's like right next to the stadium, and like down the block over there, and like in the neighborhoods and stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, it's already filling up down there like pretty fast.
Yeah.
So like people are already on the golf course, people are already on the grass.
Yeah.
So my aunt was like, in order to not walk a mile to the stadium like you did, because my aunt wouldn't have done that. She was like, we need to leave now. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
that's why I knew it was unexpected.
Yeah.
Because I was like, because I got out of my game at like 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So by the time if you would have ended up getting here around like 3:30, maybe closer to 4, it would have been far too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would end up parking like even further than you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because I paid $40 for parking.
Which, I mean, that's not too bad. You really didn't walk too far. Like, I would have made that walk.
Oh,
but
yeah.
my aunt wouldn't have.
It was
so
it was an easy walk.
Yeah, no, it's just right down the street, and you literally run right into the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, they had a sign that literally said, like, 12 minutes a walk to the stadium.
Yeah, oh yeah, they have all that down to a science over there, too. Yeah. So they know, like, you know how much you're going to park based on how much it is. So, like, you can, maybe a parking spot that's, like, it seems like it's further away from the stadium, but you have to, like, turn a corner. It really is closer, but it's not just a straight shot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, and with me walking, it took, like, 7 minutes to get to where you were.
Yeah, and we were, like, maybe a 5-minute walk from the stadium, if that.
Yeah.
And, like, we were 200
close.
yards.
You guys had good parking, but $90, no.
We were usually closer than that. I think the blacktop, is more expensive than the grass. I'm pretty sure the grass, is 70 or 80, and the concrete is 90.
Because I called up Mike, I was like, hey, man, can I park at your place? He's like, that's a far... He's like, if you would have walked, hella far. Even if you would have had public transit,
you have to take a bus.
Yeah.
So when we went,
like, it's not worth it. So I was like, okay.
No, yeah.
He's like, where did Jonathan park? I'm like, well, he didn't. He gave me coordinates. And I was like, I understand why you gave me coordinates, because if you said Pioneer, like, that's kind of general.
Yeah, it was a huge area, because so there's thousands of cars.
Yeah, Mike wanted to know like what place you were at, because he's like, well, did you park at the golf course, Pioneer?
I don't think I got any Mike's texts until we got into the stadium.
Well, I was calling him.
Okay.
Because he's like, $90 for parking. Where's he at?
Yeah, so like
because he's like, Ann Arbor or Pioneer is only like, he's like usually like $10.
I don't know where the hell he's talking about that at. It's always been way more expensive.
What number he said.
It might be like way in the back or like on one of the practice fields, but It hasn't, dude. It hasn't been $10 for parking in years. I don't think I've ever seen it as $10 for parking. I think the lowest that I've seen it was like 25 when I first started going.
I forget the number, but it was way below 90.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It was like, I think when we first started going, it was like maybe like 25, 35, and then the handicap was 40 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't mind paying 40 for parking because I'm like, well, that's in the world we live in today, that's fine.
Yeah, realistically, if you were to park like in the parking lot across from the Fox at Tiger Stadium, if you got there early enough, I think that's $30.
Yeah.
So that's $40 isn't out of the realm of possibility. And if you park in one of those structures too for a game, I think that's 50.
Yeah.
In the Red Wing garage or in there.
Yeah.
What's the one that's
I
across
like to
from
take
Tiger
the
Stadium?
people mugger though, so I get cheaper. I get cheaper parking.
Usually we have the parking down to a science over there down in downtown too, because we park in the one spot. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Where you walk straight down and it runs flush with the street that goes either straight to Ford Field or you just literally right next to you is Tiger Stadium.
It was rough, dude. For when the draft, $100 for parking. I was like,
that's crazy.
God.
Yeah.
I was like, it's because they don't like sell tickets other than in the pit where the actual seats are.
Yeah. Or if you had I don't know what others. I can't remember what other stuff they had going on for the draft.
Dude, it was. But I was like $40. I was like, sadly, that's average. I was like. It was at a house, so it was right next to the orthodontist center or whatever it is.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so...
People will rent out their lawns, like in those neighborhoods behind where the frat houses are. Yeah, people will rent out their lawns. You could fit maybe 6 people.
At Yost, when I went to Yost with my dad, like we had a bunch of people over there, like selling... I think parking was like 30.
Yeah, people won't charge as much for the basketball games or for the hockey games as the football games.
But I was just happy I was calling everything out yesterday. I was very close on a lot.
Yeah, like a lot of the play calls and like what players would do what, and you made a very early prediction for Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah.
I forget. I was like, he's going to run a drag. And he ran a drag.
No. You said that he was going to get drafted 22nd overall to the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I also said he was going to run a drag, and he did.
Well, yeah.
I said that he's going to get first round, pick 22nd overall to the Green Bay Packers at like 9:52 at night. If I call that, oh boy.
9:52.
Draft starts, I don't know. Wait, what time does the draft start?
I think the draft starts at...
Is it 7 or 8?
8? I think it's 8. But, I mean, usually it takes about an hour, 2 hours to get, like, halfway through the first half of the first round.
I'll stick with it.
So, yeah, I mean, like...
I'll stick with that.
You never know. I think the Lions made their draft pick around, like, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Yeah. But I think it was close to... I think it was close to 11 o'clock, or it might have been after 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I did make... I also said that Mason Graham and Will Johnson are going to be in the top 5.
See, Will Johnson, I think, has a higher chance of being lower than Mason Graham. I think Mason Graham was one of those guys, like, who was the guy last year he was, like, an offensive lineman, went, like, 3rd overall. Last year. I can't remember.
Joel?
Yeah.
He went 6th overall to the Chargers.
Yeah. Like he's going to be like one of those guys, I think.
Yeah, he went 4th overall.
Yeah, so he's going to be like one of those guys, like goes like in the higher, just a really like a cornerstone offensive lineman.
He's 6'3", 320 and moves like he's a running back.
Yeah, so and then Will Johnson, I think, will be like a maybe like a Quinyon Mitchell type draft pick this year. He'll go maybe like 15th, 16th.
I did say a pick 6 was going to happen, and a pick 6 did happen.
After we had left, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you had called that it was going to be a pick 6 that happened, and I called who? I think I had said maybe Will Johnson.
I said Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, Quentin, yeah. I think he almost got one. He was that one. He got
the first pick, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did get
like, that was crazy, too, because I was like, Oh, it's third down? Sack or pick. Right here.
Yeah. And then he almost got sacked, and then he threw a pick.
Well, yeah, because it bounced off a dude's shoulder.
Yeah.
And it just tip drill.
Right.
So I was like, man, I like calling stuff out. I also said there was 110,000 people there.
That is true. I thought there was gonna be a lot more than that, but I don't know. They might have stopped counting, like, because I know in Michigan Stadium before, when they do the attendance, they count everybody in there. They count the people who, like, the fans. They count the radio crews and stuff like that, the police, the attendant, like the vendors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the health and safety people, like they count everybody. So the total number sometimes jumps to like in the teens. Like,
I'm assuming next week it will.
Yeah, it's gonna be a day game. It's gonna be
and
Texas.
Texas fans travel well.
I was just thinking that. Like, Texas fans are gonna be there.
Like there was maybe 5% Fresno's fans.
They did have a lot more than I thought they would be. You saw like specks of red in the stands like every now and then usually
it was more.
Stadium
it was more where we were at.
Well,
that whole
before
back.
Up in the top. So up in the top at the I think it's a south end zone. That where we at all at the top at the like underneath the jumbotron they put or like underneath one of the video boards. That's where they usually put all the visiting fans. Is it because you saw there was like lines of red, like the whole section.
That was like where I saw 95% of Fresno Stadium.
Yeah. It's like so the lower like the top area of Michigan Stadium is split up into two different parts.
Yeah.
So you have the blue wall, which is like where the lower bowl starts. That's like where the original Michigan Stadium ended, and then they built it up a little bit. I'm pretty sure, and like way back, like in like the 50s or 60s or something like that, they did that. And then that's where my aunt's seats are. So I think she was even like after the original renovation, and then they had one again, which is like they added like another seat, and I think it threw the total like over 100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, because I was thinking like during the game or like before the game, because all the students were like crammed down like sardines. I was like, what are they going to do? That's like a lot of empty seats. I look over 5 minutes later, everything is filled.
Yeah.
Everything. So,
that's another thing with the student section too, is I think they have as many, like you can fit almost as many students as you can in there in the student section. Like they only have a certain amount of tickets, obviously, but they have like the students will go and pack over there. So then the people up at the top are more spread out. So the people, like, the students will go down and they'll stand on the stands. So you can fit, like, normally there's 34 seats to a row, 33 in some sections. And then you have, each seat will fit, like, maybe 2 people standing on the seat. So you can really have, like, double the amount of people that you normally would have sitting if all the students stand. So they pack in there. And usually, like, if you can see the student section fill all the way up to the top level like that, it's a packed house. Yeah. So and it was this time. So but then again, they only said 110,000 people, which I thought was kind of low, because usually it's like 113, 115, 112, 114.
They can hold a lot.
It can
more.
Like I said, I think the record, like the most that I've seen, is like 121.
Yeah.
And that was
I'm expecting big numbers next week, dude.
I don't know if it'll get to that. I think maybe like 115, 117.
Yeah.
Because I think last year for Ohio State, it was, I think I said it was 115 for Ohio State last year, which that's huge.
Yeah. I didn't realize until I got home how loud it was.
Oh yeah.
Because my ears were ringing.
Yeah, and then the woman next to us said that she had taken her daughter to a Lions game and not a Michigan game. I was like, Lions game might arguably be worse because it's an indoor stadium.
Yeah.
So at least with but the way, like we talked about before, like the way Michigan Stadium is set up, you can be where we were sitting and have someone stand on the opposite side and talk to them like we are now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's great. Yeah. Big takeaways is that if we play like we did yesterday, we will lose to Texas.
Definitely. Yeah, we actually that's a good bet. How did Texas do yesterday?
52-0.
Oh yeah.
They played Colorado State.
They played Chattanooga yesterday.
That was Tennessee.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Texas played Colorado State and won 52-0. Was it home?
I don't know. It's not showing me right now. It was.
Yeah.
So I mean, the first road game, you have to. I mean, you have to kind of factor that in, but at the same time, like Colorado State and Fresno State, I'd maybe put them on the same plane. Maybe Colorado State like a little bit higher.
I was going to say, I think Colorado State's probably... I don't know. They kind of play each other, I think. Don't they play?
Yeah, I think
so. I think they play each other.
In the Mountain West Division? Or something like that?
Sure.
I can't remember which one it is. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. But, so if Texas plays us, to their full... Like, if they aren't, phased by the travel time. They aren't phased by it being an away game or anything like that. Or like the atmosphere of Michigan Stadium. It could be a loss.
Yeah, I was right. They do play Colorado State.
They do. It could be a loss next week for us. Because we didn't really play well. We couldn't get anything going off of offense. But I mean, usually that's the case with Michigan. At the big first game
I always say it's the first couple games of the year. It just sucks that our second game of the year is Texas.
Well, I mean, what Michigan usually does, anyways, in the first few games of the year, is they'll have the first half will just be just blank. Yeah, it'll be like sometimes it's ended 0-0 at half. It'll be like 7-0, 10-3, something like that, and then we'll go on in the second half and we'll put up 21 points in the third quarter.
Yeah,
and then it'll be a blowout after that. Like I think they did that one time to. I think they did that to Army one year. No. Army was the one we almost lost.
Yeah.
Because Army went to overtime in that one. There was one that we almost choked it away. I want to say it was... No, it was Middle Tennessee. It might have been Middle Tennessee.
It was. You were talking about it.
Middle Tennessee last year was I think 0-0 at half. And then it was only 14-0 at the end of the third, or 14-7 or something like that, and then the final score was 42-7. So
yeah, I knew it was gonna happen too.
Yeah,
I was like, just wait. Third quarter comes around.
Yeah,
and then we let up a score, and I was like, they're just gonna say fuck it. Let's stop fucking around with these guys.
Yeah,
and actually,
so part of it probably was that. A, the fact that it was the first game and they always do that. And B, the fact that they were switching quarterbacks too.
Yeah.
So if you maybe push back how Michigan was in the game to if you erase the first quarter, because we practically didn't do anything in the first quarter.
Also, Fresno had some elite catches yesterday.
They really did. And they also had a lot of moments, you know what I mean? There was this one pass where the guy just horribly overthrew it, threw it 5 yards beyond his receiver, and I think it was Quentin Johnson had a beat on it, but he was twisted up around it, so he was looking over his one shoulder and looked over his other shoulder, looked back over this shoulder, and he couldn't position himself in a good way to get to the ball, and he didn't catch it, but it was right to him.
There was one deep ball to the end zone, and it hit his hands. Fresno State's guy, and it just slipped out, and it was a good ball too.
Yeah, he almost there was the if we're thinking about the same one, he almost had a CD Lamb catch. CD Lamb, he was facing this way, and he somersaulted over and caught it almost flat on his back.
Well, he didn't get it on his back; he slid because he just tried to go out for it, and he literally had it in his hands. It just slipped out.
Yeah, it could have been him moving with and having his arms dragged down by the ground or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. But, that was almost an insane catch.
It really was.
I think your dad's up.
Yeah, or it could have been a brother upstairs.
Yeah. But yeah, that was and we would have had a perfect shot of it too.
Yeah. And then they put in who was it? Alex Orji after Davis Warren. So Davis Warren was a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And
then Alex Orji threw a ball into the ground. I was like, no wonder he's not playing.
I think that was the only pass he threw yesterday.
Yeah, it was the only pass he threw. He threw it directly to the turf.
Yeah, it was that's
and we're like, that's why he's a running quarterback.
Yeah.
I also saw him pull it. I was like, who's running? I was like, that's a very slow running back. And it was Orji. I was like, that's why he was slow.
Yeah, he probably... Yeah,
because I thought it was Nick Mullins or some shit. I was like, is he hurt? Because Khalil Mullins. Not
Yeah, yeah.
And then Donovan Edwards gets 2
Dude.
yards.
Yeah, I don't know what he was. Yeah, we had who was the guy who was, or yeah, that Mullins guy was the other quarterback or running back. But like, yeah, Donovan Edwards, his run would start off good, like he would have like a good path through, but then he would just get wrapped up.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the first time that he would get touched, he would get brought down. But that Mullins guy, he was the one who was smashing through people, and he wasn't very fast, but he was like, he had elusiveness to him, and he would
I'm like, Donovan Edwards, if he hits a hole and he doesn't get touched, he's gone.
Yeah, oh yeah, if he finds a hole and finds green grass, he's gone.
Because it happened last year multiple times.
In the national championship game, it happened twice.
Yeah,
I mean,
it happened 3 times in the national title.
Yeah, but two of them were touchdowns. Like, yeah, he did have that third one.
I was like, he'll do good at the end
of
the season. But I was like, people heard me and they just started dying because I was like, that's why you've been here for 6 fucking years.
Dude, yeah, the guy. Oh my god. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, you have to think, maybe, like, he has to really kind of. Because Michigan has always had, like, their strength has always been running back.
Yeah.
For the most part.
The strength has been the run game.
Right, yeah, but like, usually the running, like, he'll have, like, who was before Blake Corum? We had Zach Charbonnet, and who was before him?
Donovan Edwards.
No. Hassan Haskins.
Oh.
Yeah, so, like those guys, we would have one kind of fill in after the other. Yeah. So we'd have, like, okay, if this guy gets in, you put him in. And then once this guy graduates...
That's kind of what it is. I think Donovan Edwards will be, like, a 6-rounder.
Yeah.
And he's just...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's kind of way too late. I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of season left.
I get it, but I'm like... It's just he goes down every 2... That's why I don't because he gets the big runs, like, a lot towards the end of the season. That's why his average is 6.7 yards a carry.
I will say, though, Michigan does have... Like, they have good college running backs. They don't have good professional running backs. Like, usually once their guys get to the NFL and once their running backs get to the NFL, you don't really hear about them too much afterwards. Like, Hassan Haskins, I can't remember where he went. I think he went to... Eagles. I think he went to the Eagles, and you haven't really heard about him yet. And then Blake Corum, he's going to the Chargers
he
with
just
Harbaugh.
Got drafted.
Yeah, he did.
He's a Ram.
Is he?
Yeah.
Who did the Chargers draft? They drafted Zinter and Jenkins.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it could be Jenkins who's on the Rams and Corum who's on, because I think Corum had.
No, I know for sure Corum's on the Rams.
Are you sure? Because I thought Harbaugh drafted his best offensive lineman and his running back for his running game.
Let me search this up.
But regardless, I mean, you have Charbonnet who went to the Seattle Seahawks. He hasn't really. Granted, you have Kenneth Walker in front of him. Who?
Corum.
Oh shit. And then you have what you call it? Who was the other guy beforehand? Shoot, it doesn't matter. But like usually, what Michigan has strength in is the strength positions.
Yeah.
D end, offensive, defensive line, defensive like linebackers, defensive backs, and then I mean, somewhat quarterbacks. I mean, Tom Brady's an exception, obviously, but you have had some.
JJ's hurt.
JJ is hurt. You do have who's the other guy? It wasn't Alex Smith. Didn't he? Or no, not Alex Smith. Chad Henne. He was like a career backup quarterback. Played for the Commanders for a little bit. So like you do have like some recency with like at least decent quarterbacks, but like usually like the strength for Michigan is those strength positions.
Yeah.
So.
Usually their strength is their defense and offensive line.
Yeah.
I will say, though, like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
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 How about that kicker, though?
That kicker's good.
Dominic.
It's almost like Rodrigo Blankenship, man.
What?
Fuck, he didn't play. Oh my god. He played for Georgia. My fault. It was the guy that was our guy. Like
Jake Moody?
Jake Moody.
Yeah. Yeah, Michigan does have some pretty,
Good kicker.
so yeah, they have some history with some kickers, too. Like, I don't know what they do, but maybe it's because Ann Arbor's in a bowl, and it could be maybe easier to learn because you have to, like, maybe pay attention to the wind a little bit more in Michigan Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be it could be a lot of different things, but I can't remember what this guy's last name was. Dominic Sabodka? Dominic
Zabata?
Zabata. Yeah.
Rada Zabata?
Dominic Zabata, yeah. It was like he had, I think, what was it? He had
55 yarder.
53, 55, and then he hit a 37 yard, or 30, no, what's the math on that? 36 yard extra point because of a excessive celebration penalty. So he kind of proved that he has a leg on him. So he might be safe in the kicker department.
Which is nice.
Our defense I think our defense did get 3 picks yesterday. We almost had like 5 or 6. Because again, we were talking about the one that like hit the guy's hands.
Yeah.
The one that he threw overthrew a lot.
We had at least 2 sacks from what I saw. I don't know if we had.
We had the one tip almost interception on the sideline. I think it was like bounced up, and like it ended up going out of bounds or something like that.
The ref pissed me off when he gave the sideline warning because literally the Michigan player ran into his own guy even though he was in the box. Yeah. And the Michigan guy tried to jump over his teammate, and then he landed on the white. Yeah. And then the ref's like, "Oh, back up."
Yeah, that one guy, he was like,
dude, really?
He did have both feet in the yellow. But if you looked, like, when they had the camera down the sideline, you saw down the sideline, there were plenty more people who were over the yellow down there. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it could have been, like, he got the whole sideline for the whole thing, and it was like, you had the one guy who was over there by the play, who ended up being close, and then you had everyone down the sideline. But, I mean, you see that a lot in the NFL, too. And
Sherrell Moore, as officially his first head coach in start, technically. Like, as named head coach.
Yeah. He has had experience. He had coached 3 games for us last year.
Yeah, but he wasn't
the head coach.
Head coach, but
yeah.
I mean,
we'll see how he does. I think he did good this. I think he did good this game. Mm-hmm. He was a lot more active than Jim Harbaugh was. Yeah. Jim Harbaugh just kind of
surprisingly. I thought we were, It's not, like, we always have kinks, but I thought we would have a lot more kinks.
Yeah, but, like, usually when Jim Harbaugh was the coach, he kind of had just, like, he had his name attached to him. So, like, people just kind of, like, respected him and cheered him because of his name. Sherrell Moore was actually out there, like, jumping around. Like,
yeah, he was pumping us up.
He was trying to, like, talk to the players and, like, talk to the fans and stuff like that. And, like, he did the sideline interview beforehand, too, which I can't remember if Harbaugh did that. He probably did it sometimes, but usually Harbaugh was like more reserved, and he just had that like classic coach attitude. Sherrell Moore was trying to like you could see he's maybe trying to instill confidence in his players.
Yeah, I like how it was the start of everything. He walks out on the field, and he goes, "Let's fucking go."
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. He was trying to help the crowd over by the student section.
Yeah,
and he went up and down the.
And it's glad because we're behind him and it works.
Yeah, I mean, and they did have the halftime show. They spell out his name on the field. They had championship on the thing, and then they said Moore with the block M. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. But yeah. The halftime show was pretty sweet too. They had made the Rose Bowl logo, the logo for the national championship and stuff.
4 people asked to get married yesterday on that jumbotron.
I think there was more than that. Wasn't it like 5 or 6 by the end of it?
I just saw at least 4.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there was at least 4 on the jumbotron. There could have been more. You don't know. But it was crazy. Usually, you see it like once, maybe once a season. 4 in the opening game. That's crazy. And they didn't put any of them on the jumbotron, but you have to figure which one of them said no. Because like, did you ever
Just
you,
preying on the
the
downfall.
no, I'm saying like the more you have, the more
Yeah.
like Murphy's law, you know,
That's
the law of
true,
probability.
man.
The more things you encounter, the more things can go wrong.
That's true.
So,
all right, enough about football. What else do we got going on in sports? Tigers are over 500.
Tigers are over 500. We're getting closer and closer to a wild card spot. I think we're 4.5 games out right now. Let me see.
How the hell do you get 4.5 games out? Wouldn't it just be a full?
No, because you can if you it's kind of weird if you lose a game and the other team behind you wins a game, but you're so let's say you start out the game the year 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
If the team ahead of you is 2-0, you're half a game back.
Okay.
Because they have to lose one and you have to win one.
Okay.
So that no. So if you're 2-1, if they're 2-1 and you're 2-0 or something like that, but like pretty much you have to, for every win that they have ahead of you, they have to have, I think, either the same or more amount of losses than you.
Okay.
Or something like that. Like it's weird how it works, but it's like
math.
It's kind of like I'd almost have to like show you on like a piece of paper. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain.
You don't have to do that.
It's like, but yeah, it's how the baseball standings work. So it's like if you have you can have like anywhere between like maybe 4, 5.5 games back to half a game back is like close, depending on where you are in the season. Obviously, like as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, that is going to get more and more, or it's going to get harder and harder to overcome.
Yeah. When is the end of the season?
It's usually the second week in September, because I think the last week of September and all through October is the playoffs. So it could be like September 15th or something like that.
Oh, so we're
you got about a month left. Maybe like a little bit, less than that.
Yeah. Like 2-3 weeks maybe.
Yeah. It's later than I thought. It's September 29th.
Yeah.
But then the playoffs start like immediately after that. I know with baseball they start like once everyone's good to go, they go, because you don't want them to like, you don't want people to like rest up and like kind of like get in their head and stuff like that, and they want to keep like the system of the season going and stuff. So that's why. But then they do space out the playoff games. So you have like one playoff game one day, and then they have, I think, the game in the opposite league the next day. So each game does have a game or like a day in between. So they space it out so it's like an actual playoff format, instead of just playing like the 2 games back to back and back to back days and having like a day for travel. They have a day in between, so you don't get that like travel advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
Because you can have like, you could have a team like, let's say the Angels are playing the Yankees in the playoffs. That's a long distance to travel. So if you play 2 games consecutively in New York, and then let's say New York wins both of those games, and then LA's tired, they have to go travel back all the way to the thing, they're jet lagged or whatever, and then Yankees go over there, and then the Yankees win now because they're ahead. It's like, well, why did you play those 2 games consecutively? You could just split them up.
Yeah.
So that's what the hockey does the same thing. Whereas hockey would have like multiple games in between, multiple days in between each game. So you have like, let's say you have a game on like Monday, and you have a game on Thursday, and you have another game on like Saturday or Sunday or something like that. So you have like at least a day in between each of your games most of the time. But then in the playoffs, you only have 1 or 2 days in between each of your games. So it kind of like, that's why the playoffs are so intense like that. So the playoff format, I think, is changing this year for the MLB again. They could do what they did last year, I think. But with the Tigers being 4.5 games back out of a wild card. Let's see what they have. Let me just check, make sure.
Okay, good. I'm not on the list.
Oh, dang. Yeah, Tigers are 5 games out of the wild card right now.
Okay, so that's not bad.
No, it's not. And we have So the line is Minnesota. So we have Boston and Seattle, who are ahead of us. We have 69 wins. We're 69-68. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then Seattle is 69-67.
Nice.
So they technically have one less game to play. Or they technically have one more game to play. And then Boston is 70-66. So they are even further behind us in how many games they have left to play. No, wait, no, my math is wrong. They have the same. They're playing the same amount of games. But both of those teams, including Kansas City, who is currently holding a wild card spot, has lost 4 games in a row. So all these teams have lost within the last few days, and the Tigers have won yesterday.
Good.
So that means we're slowly getting back. I think we were I think a little bit ago we were like 8.5 games or like 9 games back. So we've been pushing forward. We have a lot more guys up in the MLB now than we did like throughout the season. That was kind of the complaint with the Tigers fans was, if we're not going to do anything this year, if we're not going to contend for a World Series, why don't we get some of these younger players that we have in our system some MLB time?
Yeah.
So Jace Young was brought back up again, or brought up for the first time. Parker Meadows was brought back up. Torkelson was brought back up, which is pretty good. Who else was brought back up? I think Bo Brisky is here. Trey Sweeney, who we got in the deal with Jack Flaherty. We finally have like our blueprint for what the Tigers are supposed to be when we ultimately get to the promised land.
Yeah.
So it is nice to see, and we do have still players down in the minors that we have to call up still.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have Max Clark, Jackson Henry Malloy, a couple other guys that are down like in the lower level leagues, and then we have Jackson Jobe, who is now the top pitching prospect now that Paul Skeens is in MLB.
Yeah.
So we have that to look forward to. I don't know if he's going to get in this year. He might maybe have him start fresh in the spring. Maybe finish out this year in AAA, see what he did, and kind of gather himself, and then look forward to spring next year. Or you could have him maybe get a few starts in at the end of the year just to get a taste for the big leagues at the end of the year, and then have him start fresh in the spring so he has that knowledge in the back of his head too of what the big leagues are like.
Yeah.
It really, you could do it either way because with those younger players too, you're not going to have to pay them ultimately in the beginning, and that's one of the things that the Tigers have struggled with is paying the right people. Obviously, Baez he's still playing, which is crazy, but he's been getting better though. He said some games where he'll go like 2 for 4, and then the day after he'll go like 1 for 4, but he'll have like a couple of egregious strikeouts. And then defensively, he's been sound. I haven't seen any fatal errors from him yet, recently. So,
hey man, just getting better.
Yeah, it is what it is. Usually, I saw something on Instagram. It was like Javi Baez is like a cat that is finding a spot to die. And I was like, whoa. And they're like,
okay.
but then they backed it up with a point. They were like, usually a lot of times, older MLB players, when they have, they'll play on a team for a long time, like Javi Baez played on the team. He played on the Cubs for a long time and won World Series and stuff. And then he went to the New York Mets, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, I think, yeah. And then, usually some players will have, they'll go to different teams and stuff like that, and they'll play in different areas. And then they'll bounce around from those different teams because they're not very good anymore. They're, maybe in their mid to late 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But then ultimately, some of them will find a team that they stay in the last 4 or 5 years of their career, and they retire there. Kind of like Albert Pujols did. So Albert Pujols, when he was on the Cardinals for the longest time, the Cardinals moved on from him. He went to the Dodgers, I think, for a year, and then went to the Angels, and then stayed with the Angels for the later part of his career, kind of died out there, and then he went back to the Cardinals for his final year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like an example of how how someone could do that. Same thing with Ichiro. I'm pretty sure Ichiro, he was on Seattle for the longest time. They went to the New York Yankees, then went to the Marlins for the last couple of years in his career, and they went back to the Mariners to retire with the Mariners.
Hmm.
So it could be a little, as we see Baez make an error on the MLB demo.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but yeah, it's kind of like you could see like you could see Baez doing that. I can't remember how old he is, but if his career is over, like if no one else is going to take a chance on him, then he could just be wanting to stay here, so he just plays baseball. Which you can't really blame the guy for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like we'll just have to wait and see. And if the Tigers don't do it this year, if they don't make it to the playoffs this year, like I said, we still have all those minor leaguers who we just brought up, and all those pitchers we have to look forward to. So
yeah. Oh, I was bringing it back to Michigan. Wow, we both did the same thing right there. Wow.
oh yeah. Cheers.
I will say, dude, my shoulders are fucked.
Yeah, my shoulder. Not so much my shoulders, my back, like my lower back, and my. Yeah, like my.
That's the bad part about Michigan Stadium, dude. Your shoulders are gonna hurt.
It would like right around like here is where it would hurt, because I was just like sitting, kind of like sitting forward like this, and, like sitting up and down, like.
The one lady
Oh,
tried to steal a seat here. What was going on with that, man?
Jesus Christ! So the woman next to us, when we sat down, I think that woman was already there, right? Or did we sit? No, we had sat down before her, but I think we had gotten up to go to the bathroom when you go get food.
Yeah.
So we had left our spot, and by the time that we had gotten back, there was this woman that was sitting next to us, and she was sitting kind of cockeyed, like she was sitting kind of like this. But to her defense, if you sit squared up with your seat like this, and you're where we sit in Michigan Stadium, you have to turn a little bit. You have to turn maybe like just a little bit. So she maybe to like your 10 o'clock. So she's sitting like this. She's squared up with the field. Mm-hmm. And then she was also taking pictures of her husband and her daughter that were sitting next to her, and she was talking to them and stuff like that. She doesn't know who the fuck we are. So she was sitting kind of cockeyed, and they had stuff like in her lap and stuff like that, or like underneath her feet. She had like bags and whatever. So, but my aunt was right away like, make sure she doesn't encroach on our seat, because that's how like you see like people will say, oh, there's a seat in between us that's not taken, so then they'll try to squeeze over and like try to take that seat. But we had 4 seats, only 3 people.
Yeah.
So she was like kind of sitting all the way on number 31. Like she was sitting on the number 31, and my aunt was like, "We have all 4 of these seats. Like, there's no reason why we should be scrunched and sitting in 3 seats. And if we take the 4th seat, we should take advantage of these 4 seats right here to make ourselves comfortable."
I get it.
Yeah, so I was like, okay.
That's why I left it to you, because I was like, I don't want to deal with this.
No, yeah. So like, I think like you had tried to like move over a little bit, and you're like, I can see the number 31 like in between us. Like, it's no one's sitting on it. It's like right here. So then my aunt was like, kept on looking down, like, and I was like, relax, like we're fine. So then we switched seats, and I, like, every time we would stand and we stood up for the national anthem, for the marching band and stuff like that, I would like maybe take like a half a step over.
Yeah.
And I would do that. I did that up until maybe like the end of the first quarter, maybe like halfway through the first quarter, until I was sitting with my left ass cheek completely over the number 31. And I will say, the woman she was kind of looking down, like looking at me, looking down. I wasn't paying any attention to her. I was like, if you say something to me about this being our seat, I have the proof. So I'm already locked and loaded.
Well, yeah, that's why I was like, I'll let you.
There's nothing she could have done. So it was like, either say something to me and I can smash your argument, or you can just deal with it, me scooching over onto my seat, which is rightfully mine anyways.
Yeah.
So
that's why I was like, I was like, yeah, it's your seat. I want to let you take care of this, big dog.
Right, yeah. Like, it is what it is. Like, even if we did sit in the 3 seats to begin with, it wouldn't matter. We still saw the game regardless. Yeah. But I feel like my aunt was like, because she sits right on the end. So if there's someone who's parked right on the end of that seat and everyone else is like kind of scrunching down, she can get scrunched in to the point where she's uncomfortable. She's like sitting, legs super close together, arms in her lap and stuff like that. Because that's happened before. Where like people will stand up during the entire game, and like,
I'm assuming we're going to be standing a lot next week.
Yeah, we probably will.
Well, as of right now.
Texas is probably going to bring their band too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Texas is going to bring their band. Because Fresno didn't bring their band, but they're coming all the way from California. But usually the bigger schools will bring their band. Like, I think Penn State brings theirs, Michigan State, Ohio State, obviously. I'm pretty sure when... Safety. Hopefully, I hope that God the microphone picked that up. I can't remember who brought their band.
All right, we should explain the safety rules.
Oh yeah, safety is when you fart. Yeah, so if you light off a fart, you're supposed to say safety if it's not audible.
We've had this rule for so many years.
I think it was like since like after high. It's been like 3 or 4 years now, and other people know about it. Like other people have like, because I've heard people say it like in public before. Yeah, it's like it's not like not a common thing, but it's like a niche thing. Like it's probably like spread around, like, you know, people going into different friend groups and bringing it to their friend groups, like how we did. Like I learned it from our friend Tyler.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like it's probably just it's probably not a very common thing.
I just came in the room one day and they're like, "Did you fart?" I was like, "Maybe." They're like,
"Yeah, say safety."
Doorknob.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's another thing. So if somebody farts and they don't call safety, then anyone else who smells it or hears it can call a doorknob.
And beat the living shit out of it.
Yeah, until you touch a doorknob. And not a door handle, a doorknob.
Oh,
like an actual circular doorknob.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know that part.
So that door is safe. The door upstairs is not. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of screwed up like that.
If you're outside, you don't have to call safety.
Yeah, outside is off limits. And then any
like and if you're in the car and you do it, what's the rule? Because technically there's no doorknobs in a car.
I mean, I think usually it's just be courteous and roll down your window. I mean, I get... But there have been some times where, like, I know one time Mitchell was driving. Or I think Mitchell was driving. And Mitchell farted. And he locked the windows. Yeah. And then I think Tyler was with us, too. And he was like, Mitchell, pull the fuck over. He was like, pull over. Yeah. He locks the damn door, or locks the windows, puts a child locks on so he can't roll down the window.
That does sound like something Mitchell would do.
Yeah, so I think Tyler tried to like crank the air, like he tried to like fire up the end, like air, and yeah, he tried to get the vents blowing out. Yeah,
I was laying some heaters at the game yesterday. I was like,
dude, I had to. Like, because, like, after having that hot dog, because my idiot ass, too. So what I did, I got my hot dog, and I go over to the condiments thing, and they have 2 red things.
Were they both red, or was one more maroon?
I'm pretty sure, no. They were both red, because they were both ketchup containers, but the one had a black, like, piece of tape over it, and in Sharpie it said barbecue sauce. And I didn't see that until afterwards. So I put barbecue sauce on my freaking hot dog. But in hindsight, it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good.
I've done it before, yeah.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
I've also put barbecue sauce on my burger before.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I don't really care for that, though. I'd rather have it on the hot dog, to be honest with you, after I tried it. But it was kind of surprising. I was like, all right, we'll see how it is. And then in the back of my head, I was like, what if I just discovered something? Like, what if this is my new thing that I put fucking barbecue sauce on hot dogs? You
fucking psychopath.
But no, so I went over and I put ketchup on it too, though, and then was that when we saw the stretcher over there? No, we saw the stretcher when we were going to the bathroom. Yeah. And then I
wonder why they had that, because I didn't see anybody.
I did, yeah. So maybe about 10, 15 rows ahead of us, there were a couple like emergency workers over in the front. Like, they had, like, the Michigan Stadium emergency crew or whatever. And there were, like, 3 or 4 people that were there. And then, I do know the, there was a woman who went and told on a guy over in our parking area. Yeah. So there was this woman who was walking around in the parking area, and she had to have been, like a director of some sort, like a supervisor of some sort, because she had a black thing on, and it had some kind of badge, and not like a badge, but like some kind of logo on her chest, and she had a radio in her back pocket. Mm-hmm. And she had like sunglasses on and stuff like that, so she was probably like the parking director or whatever. Maybe, like looking out for people underage drinking, whatever. And there were cops on bikes that were going through, and cops that were walking through, cops on like the Polaris side-by-side things. So they were going through, and the
that one cop was having so much fun yesterday.
Where?
The
crossing walk. Yeah. Those guys they have a ton of fun all the time. talk shit to the other fans and stuff like that too. It's funny.
Hey, go home.
Yeah, no, yeah, they do. Like some like Ohio State, they're ruthless. Michigan State, they're ruthless. Penn State, oh my God, yeah. But then, so this woman she goes and grabs like these cops, and they go and talk to this one guy. She said something about the shirt that the guy was wearing. So I don't know if he went and got the shirts from the corner and took them and like wore one. I don't know, but you saw the shirts in the corner, right? Yeah, that was a bit funny. They're there every single game.
That I wasn't. Well, yeah, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
Political shirts.
No. The Michigan shirts that the guys sell before the game. It's like it says like "Bitch, I'm a Wolverine." And one said "Fuck around and find out" in Ann Arbor or something like that. That's one that Josh got. And I remember Josh one time was waiting for us up north. He had gotten his coffee and he was sitting there with his coffee outside of a coffee house in sunglasses, just sitting alone on the outside waiting for us. And his shirt was like it was a cutoff shirt. He turned it into a cutoff and I said, "Fuck around and find out" on it. And people were just like walking past and looking at him and then like looking at his shirt and going like, "Fuck," and he just waved. He's just like he's not doing anything. He's just sitting there waiting for us. But to someone who doesn't know,
I saw an 11-year-old wear that shirt yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's might have been what it was. What the woman went to the cops for. I think she saw these two dudes and they bought like a shirt for the kid and they like the kid put it on.
Yeah.
And she was like, just like wanted to like I don't know if she had like a problem with it or something like that. But
dude, I did. One thing that stood out yesterday was the lady going like, "Give them a game!"
Oh my God, yeah.
It's a couple kicks in a row. Give them a fucking game.
She was like, hardball left, stuff like that.
Relax. And we're all like,
Her face was getting red too. People were like, Jesus Christ.
we were like, you were telling us to relax.
Yeah.
You're about to go into anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, oh my God. She was right at the end of the row too.
Yeah.
They had who was it that was sitting with them? They had like there was like those people in the front row and the people in behind the row and the row behind them. So they probably couldn't get seats that were all like straight line like down the row, so they like stacked them up the row. But that's not a bad idea. I would honestly consider doing that for a Tiger game. Having like get like 2 seats in front and then 3 seats in the back, or 3 seats in the front, 2 seats in the back. So you're not all in the same row. Because if you do sit all in the same row like that and you have 4 or 5 different people, generally throughout the game, you sometimes don't talk with the person who's all the way at the end.
Yeah.
So because there's people in between you. But if you have 2 and 2 or 3 and 2 or 2 and 3, it's easier to talk because you're like talking like over their shoulder, like behind them. You just like spin around, like how the woman was sitting. If you sit in a seat with like a seat with armrests and stuff like that, you can just sit there and like spin and kind of talk to your buddy like this and like watch the game.
Yeah.
So that's why I like going to baseball games a lot, because there's a lot more like I don't want to say freedom, but like you can kind of like craft your own experience there almost. Which is like with the with football games, it's like, at least with Michigan and Lions games, you go there, you sit in your seat, you get food if you want to, go walk around, whatever it is, and you can.
We talk a lot at Lions games.
We do, yeah, but like with baseball games, it's more of like an outdoor like kind of like event setting. So you go there and you can sit. Generally by like the 5th inning, you can probably sit wherever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Except for in the good seats, like behind the dugout, behind home plate, and stuff like that. But if you sit up in the nosebleeds, and by like the 5th, 6th inning, you can go down and sit in the lower bowl. No one's going to question it, because people have already left. People are walking around the game. People get tickets and just walk around the whole stadium the entire time and stand in different areas of the stadium.
Yeah.
That's again what you can do with baseball. Is like there's multiple standing room areas. You can just go and stand and watch the game. So go see statues, go to the carousel and stuff like that. Like if you have kids going to the game, you don't even have to sit in your seats. You can make it like a day, literally day out at the park.
I'm not gonna lie. When I have kids, I don't want to deal with them. So I'm gonna have to bring.
Oh my God!
I might have to bring them to the games when they're like older.
Yeah, that is one thing too. It's like I don't know how like, I don't know. Like, if you're a parent, you bring, like, small kids.
I think you're an asshole.
I don't know, I wouldn't say that, but I wouldn't do it. Like, if I had, like, a newborn, like, one in, like, the thing, and one that I still had to, like, hold, or, like, one or the other, I wouldn't do it. I'd either stay home or have, like, have someone watch them or something like that, like, do, figure out something. Because I don't know if I want to take
I'm probably
them
going to take my kids when they're, like, around 10.
Yeah, I think I went to my first Tiger game, like with my dad. I don't know if we went to any like beforehand or if my mom like took me as a baby or not. But I think the first one that I can remember, I was in kindergarten. My dad took me out of school to go see the Baltimore Orioles versus the Tigers.
Cool.
And then I think my first I started going to the Michigan games and Lions games when I was 7.
Yeah.
So that's like
anywhere from 7 to 10 because kids are shitty.
No, yeah, for real. I mean, loud. So like
obnoxious.
No, like for real. Like some people do not like that. People will go to games to get away from their kids at home. It's like, hey, I have my season. This is my one day a week where I can go and have my me time. And then if you have kids there, like other people's small kids there, and they're causing a scene or they're being obnoxious or whatever.
That's why I would have to wait till they're like 10 because
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you start crying, I'm just going.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. If you're in like a movie, and then not even a sporting event, if you're like a movie and you have a small kid, and they start crying like in the middle of nowhere, like what you're gonna have to miss the thing too because the baby's crying and the baby's not even gonna remember this. So it like. Yeah, just to avoid the hassle and avoid the aggravation, it'd be better to just wait until they're older.
I can understand if you're like a guy playing in the game and your wife brings like your kid.
Yeah, that's
fine.
No,
but
yeah,
if I'm just going to spectate and everything, I'm not bringing a baby.
No, yeah. Or if you want like,
even like a 3-year-old, I'm not.
Or if it's like a tradition, like if you went as like a 2-year-old, so you're being brought as a 2-year-old, or like let's say with
some traditions are okay to die.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, or let's say you wanted your kid to see an old stadium. So like, let's say they were going to build a new stadium in Detroit, like with the old Tiger Stadium. Like if I was born in '98, let's say, instead of 2002, I bet you my dad would have brought me to Old Tiger Stadium just for me to be able to say that I saw it because he's had so many memories at that stadium. Yeah. He's seen a championship there. Yeah. So. But then that's going to be the same thing with me with Comerica Park. Like, if I have kids before Comerica Park is demolished, I'm going to want to take them there, even if they're really small, so they can say that they said they saw Comerica Park.
I've been there.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. Because, like, yeah, so just stuff like that. Like, if they ever get rid of, I don't think they'd ever do it, but if they ever got rid of a stadium like Fenway or Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
Like, I can guarantee there'd be families that would take their newborn kids to Wrigley Field and to Fenway Park just to be able to say that they saw it.
And have the picture and everything.
Oh, yeah. So, like, stuff like... But then I don't think they'd ever do that. I don't think they'd ever demolish those stadiums.
I think might revamp it.
Revamp or maybe build a new one, but keep that one. And make it like a concert venue and make it like a... Or maybe like a minor league stadium or something like that. Or just like...
That's a hell of a minor league stadium.
Yeah, but then again, Wrigley Field and Fenway Park are, I think, a couple of smaller stadiums. Because, like, when they built those older stadiums, it was, they're a lot smaller dimensions and stuff like that. That's why all these old stadiums are getting demolished, because with the new equipment and stuff like that, and with more people coming in the games and the fan base is growing and stuff like that, the stadiums are just generally smaller. Yeah. Because with seating and stuff like that, like you have like a 25,000, 35,000 seat baseball stadium. That's small now. Yeah. Baseball stadiums now are 45,000, 50,000 people. And football stadiums are 65,000, 75,000.
And up, yeah.
Yeah, and up, yeah. So it's like, and then hockey rinks are even getting bigger too. I think the Joe had 14,000, 15,000 people there or something like that, or 17,000, something like that. I think LCA fits like around 20,000 now. Yeah. Or something like that. So like the stadiums are getting bigger, the stadiums are getting more high tech and stuff like that too. That's another thing. Technology.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean there's all sorts of reasons to get rid of them. Yeah, but like I said, I wouldn't get rid of those either, but I don't think they're gonna get rid of them either. So
Yeah.
I'd keep them. So, and just like revamp it. Maybe you have a couple seasons where you go and you play someplace else, so that the stadium can get like a formal, like a proper makeover. Like you replace beams and stuff like that. You replace like
a
concrete.
full-on TLC.
Right.
Let's fix this bitch up.
It's like this. Yeah, it's like this part of the stadium's going to collapse if we don't fix it, because it's over 100 years old. People have walked on it for millions of people have walked on this part of the stadium. We need to refix. We need to
fix this. Now.
Yeah, put new concrete in here in this part of the stadium. We're gonna have to shut it down. So they might like move them there for a year or something like that, or like maybe have them play at the White Sox stadium or something like that, and whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. And same thing with Fenway too. I think Fenway, they already did that. I'm pretty sure a couple times. Like they had like the
Commanders need to do that.
Yeah, well, the Commanders just need a new stadium in general.
Need a new owner. Need new everything.
Yeah, because Commander's Stadium, I don't think is very. Like, they haven't done shit in there like Fenway and Wrigley.
About the Commanders, I should have watched their preseason more. Because Mikey Samerstill is on that team.
It is true. Yeah. I just saw a commercial for Mikey Samerstill. He was doing a suit commercial on YouTube. It was a YouTube ad.
Nice.
And then, what else was there? Who else was on the thing? I saw on Instagram the other day, it was Jake Butt. Yeah, we were talking about Jake Butt earlier with the Michigan tight ends and stuff.
Yeah,
and
because we were talking about how Bredesen is only 6'2".
Yeah, because I mean, he's still a somewhat bigger guy, but for tight ends, he's not.
Yeah, for a tight end, he's small.
Yeah.
He did, as a blocking tight end, I thought he did really good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The one thing though with the Michigan offense too, if we're jumping back to that, it was kind of easy to see what we were gonna do. Because you would put out Bredesen and like your beefy offensive line if you're going to run the ball.
And then it's also like it's Fresno, so I think they were just not doing a whole lot.
Well, that too. Yeah, we also didn't have our starters in.
Or it didn't look like our starters.
We had Davis Warren in. I think for like the first couple drives we had our starters in, but then we took them out because we put in Alex Orji. We had Max Bredesen taking over. Who was the other guy? Yeah, the Mullins kid we had in the back. But I think he should be our 1A running back right now. And then we had our second and third wide receivers in.
It also didn't seem like we had our starting offensive line in there either.
No, we didn't. Because I I saw this Al Hattie guy on the field a lot. I think he was a right tackle. And I don't think he's in our starting 5. But he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, well, it's probably because we know we have a big game.
That could be what it is, yeah. I mean, but you have Texas, then you have Washington. I'm saying like all the big games. So you have Texas, you have Washington, Oregon, USC, Michigan State. I don't think you play Penn State this year, and you have Ohio State, but then you have all those games in between. So it would make sense to play your starters now to get them used to the new atmosphere and your new system actually on the field before you go and put them out there against Texas. Because now what if these starters probably going to get run over by Texas?
Who knows?
Yeah, but then I don't know. You could say the same thing with like on the opposite end. You could be like, yeah, well, you want to save them for the big games, but then if they don't have experience in the normal games, how are they going to perform in the big games? And it's you go back and forth like that.
It's a big give and take thing.
Yeah.
Safety.
Oh, Jesus Christ. In other news, if we're jumping to hockey, so let's get out of the way. So Thursday night, terrible thing happened in the NHL world. Johnny Gaudreau.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew were killed by a drunk driver in New Jersey. Yeah, it's crazy. He was 31 and his brother was 29. That was devastating. Really, it was, because I had always liked seeing Johnny Gaudreau play. I had heard about him all the way since Boston College. Seen him play in the USA teams and stuff like that. So, I honestly, when I first saw it on my Instagram feed, I thought it was a joke. To be honest with you, I thought it was going to be like a series of posts where it's like these guys are washed, like their careers are dead. You know what I mean? So I saw Johnny Gaudreau, and I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of see how someone could see how Johnny Gaudreau's career is almost done. Like, you know, a little bit of a hot take, but who knows? And then I swiped on it, and I saw the statement from the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is real. And then I saw, I think it was the San Jose Sharks make a statement, the Red Wings make a statement, the Calgary Flames made a statement too, Vancouver Canucks. So, like, all these teams, even outside of the world of hockey, were making these statements about this guy. And it really does suck because I think it was yesterday, Saturday or Friday, was supposed to be their sister's wedding, and then Matthew was expecting. So, yeah, it was just really terrible. Two great hockey players too. Yeah, Boston College. I think they both went to Boston College. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, not a very good day for hockey. There's gonna be what you call it, demonstrations for him all across the NHL. They're gonna have like a big moment of silence for him at the beginning of probably each game. I wouldn't be surprised if they have his number in the rafters at Columbus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that does. Yeah, it was a hard hitting thing. Like I was thinking about that all day on Friday, because I was like, dang, Johnny Gaudreau was one of my favorite players to watch. So, but yeah, and then so in other words in the hockey world with the Red Wings, they have they still have to sign Raymond and Sider. What are we doing? And we also have to sign Jonathan Berggren. And I mean, I honestly don't think that's it. Like, I think you should still probably look at getting some more guys, like getting some trades in or something like that. But the question is, what are we going to do with those contracts? Because I've only ever heard something on Raymond. I haven't heard anything on Sider yet. So I don't know if he's even close to signing, but they said that Raymond is like, it's quote, not close yet. So I really don't know what that means. It could mean that like he's not, he's just not signing with the Wings. Like, he's adamant about what he wants and they're like in harsh negotiations, or, he does want to sign here and he wants to make sure it's for the right price. But I don't know. I think that you should put what I was saying before in the offseason. I think we have $18.5 million in cap space or something like that. I think it said. So, because we got Thomas Vanek off the books, Abdicator off the books. I think we traded away Pavel Datsyuk last year. We traded away his contract. Franz Nielsen, I think, is done. Jimmy Howard, I think, is done in his contracts that are still going on. So we have, I think, $18 or $19 million in cap space now. So what I was saying was to do maybe 8x8 for Sider and Raymond. So it's 16 over 8 years. Or $16 million for the two of them over 8 years. And then with the last little bit, you give Jonathan Berggren maybe 1.25, 1.5.
Yeah.
And you have $500,000 to work with. Granted, next year I don't see Kane sticking around next year. I don't see Cam Talbot being around here next year. You really need to get rid of Justin Hall's contract, Ben Sherratt's contract, Jeff Petry's contract, with maybe replace those guys with minor leaguers. You bring up Sandin Pellikka, Edvinson, and maybe New Power, a couple other guys, something like that. And you have guys who are waiting in the wings too to be brought up. Marco Casper. So you have other offensive weapons that you can use. I don't know. I think there's like some players that shouldn't be here anymore because we just have terrible contracts for them. So that would open up a lot of money to sign guys who are going to be here for a while and who are going to help you win.
You know what we were talking about at work?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about just the disparity of money in sports.
Dude, it's oh my god.
And we were talking about league minimum because one of my coworkers was confused why Russell Wilson was only getting paid like 1.3 mil. Technically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and like that's technically like league. It's like league average for starting. It's not even league average. If they were on like a minimum contract or whatever. Just
Yeah.
and then we started talking about minimum contracts and everything, and other coworker comes up and because we're like hockey players get paid nothing compared to everybody else.
And that's very true.
And the coworker goes, "No, basketball minimum contracts are pretty bad." I was like, "You're getting paid at least $1 million if you're on a minimum league for minimum for the NBA."
I think NBA is technically $900 million or $900,000.
We searched it up. It's 1.3.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought okay.
And that's for like minimum. I'm like, there's bench players right now getting paid 20 mil.
Dang, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was 900,000.
Yeah, so it's like
It could have been that a few years ago.
yeah. I think NFL is like 750 and baseball's around there.
But that's what NHL is too, is 750. And then your minimum entry level contract is $500,000.
Yeah.
So if you're an NHL player and you sign an actual deal, your league min is 750. But if you sign league min as an entry level as a rookie deal, it's 500,000.
Yeah.
But guys have signing bonuses, and usually the guys won't sign for. If you're a good player, they want you to make a decent amount of money, so you're comfortable with the money you've already made, so you don't ask for a shit ton of money when you want your contract re-upped.
Yeah.
Because if you sign a guy for $2.5 million over 3 years, they're less likely to demand that triple-digit contract. Like, $100 million over 10 years or whatever it may be. So, like the $10 million cut. So, they're more liable to sign like a $5.5 million deal.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah.
I was messing with him because I was like, man, the Bears aren't going to win anything this year.
No, I don't. I mean, we shall see. Again, what I was saying, we were talking about this yesterday, like the Bears quarterbacks, or Bears don't have a good track record with quarterbacks.
No, they don't.
I mean, in the past they have, but as of recently, not
really.
No. Justin Fields is a prime example of that. Jay Cutler, who was the other guy?
I think Justin Fields would have done better in the Bears system than Caleb Williams.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think, like I said, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't think the Bears should have moved Justin Fields. They should have done everything in their power to keep them, because he's more guaranteed to do good than Caleb Williams is.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if Caleb Williams gets hurt or just doesn't know how to play football?
You're
anymore?
screwed.
Yeah, you're screwed because you traded away your guy, and then what are you going to do? Get them back from Pittsburgh? Because Pittsburgh's going to realize that Russell Wilson's washed, and we have Justin Fields now. Then.
Yeah.
So he's already locked over there.
It's crazy.
Plus, he wanted to go there. Justin Fields, I guess, wanted to go there. And I really, the Bears didn't really do a whole lot to want Justin Fields to stay in Chicago.
Yeah.
You had
They were like,
basically no weapons for
they
him.
were like, oh, you want to go? Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically how it went. I'm just excited for next week. I'm excited for the Lions to play the Rams at 8:20 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
The
It
Lions.
sucks because I want to watch that game, and I know Monday morning I have to get up early for work.
Yeah.
I'm going to forego sleep that day.
Forego sleep. Yeah, that's a. So I'm gonna be getting off. I'm gonna be watching that game at work.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So I'm gonna be working till the time I get off.
Yeah.
And then Monday night, who's playing Monday night the first week? Isn't it Kansas City and
Yeah.
Jets?
No, it's Kansas City and Ravens, I think.
Is it?
When does Green Bay play Philly and Brazil?
I have no idea.
I think it's like Thursday.
Yeah. You see the uniforms
Mm-mm.
that people are speculating they're gonna have to wear because they, the whole green rule.
Oh, yeah.
So people are saying that they could wear the Packers could wear their navy blue with the brown and shit like that.
I know that they might, but I hate those things.
Yeah,
They're ugly.
I personally don't mind it. They look like a really nice classic jersey, but as of right, like for a football jersey now, they're hideous.
Yeah.
Like if a new team came out with those as their jerseys, I'd be like, what are you doing? But
Go
to have them as like a
home and leave.
but have them as like a throwback, I think they're cool. But
I can't get with those jerseys. What would the Eagles do?
You said the Packers ones are bad.
Oh God, is the Eagles even worse?
Yes.
How bad? Safety. As the long silence approaches safety. But I like those more than the Packers, though.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I like the color scheme better. Show the camera.
That's what they're supposed to look like. I got this off of Google. And, or it's posted on Reddit, but it was off of Google. And,
I like those better.
I don't know if I do. They kind of, I mean, they remind me a lot of the Boston Red Sox jerseys that they wear this year. And then for those of you that can't remember, these are the Packers ones. See, I think that those ones look better than that. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more. There's a lot more jerseys that I think have that color scheme, the navy blue and yellow, and have that like darker pattern than the white, bright blue and bright yellow.
Mm.
I don't know. I think it's like it's a lot, very vibrant, especially for a football jersey. Like if you have that in a baseball jersey, that's one thing. And the Red Sox are like, I don't know. It's kind of grown on me a little bit. Like I do like how how they wear like the yellow and blue pads and stuff like that, like on their arms. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it works in a football uniform.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah.
What else did you put down? I forgot.
I think that might be it. If you wanted to, it's up to you. I think we can. Anything else we should cover?
I don't know. This would be the part where we talk about life.
Yeah, I mean,
or just random shit.
What time are we on?
Alright,
Hour 31.
Hour 31.
I think we should wrap it here.
Yeah, sure. Alright, guys. You good fuckers should subscribe.
You think